Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
My name is Happy Gilmore. I haven't swung a club in years.
You know what you got to do.
Grip it and rip it.
Or... Oh, now that is some Happy Gilmore.
Everyone is talking about the comeback kid, Happy Gilmore.
Happy Knee.
Yeah, baby.
Happy Gilmore 2, only on Netflix July 25th. Rated PG-13, may be inappropriate for children under 13.
After Zoomies at the dog park, it's time for Drive Up at Target. In goes a big bag of kibble and one squeaky chicken toy for the good boy. Drive Up that's ready when you are, only in the Target app. Just tap Target.
Welcome to another Find the Edge production for the Premier League Cricket Club. Connecting players and coaches, clubs and leagues, volunteers and supporters alike, you're in the right place for the best of the 33 ECB Premier Leagues and the 20 NCCA counties, bringing you the stories, the stats and the standout performances that make this game great. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to both our Premier League and NCCA shows so you don't miss any episodes. Now, shall we get stuck in? Right, so welcome everybody to the Premier League Cricket Show and part 2 of our quick roundup around the country. And as we said yesterday, we're going to go straight over to our favourite league from last year without a shadow. There were runs everywhere. And at the very top of the country when it comes to Premier League runs right now, Mr. Adam Jones with 1,048 runs in the East Anglia League. Hugh, there's nowhere bigger, is there?
No, they're just piling on the runs this year, and there's some good names scoring big runs. I'm just looking down this weekend. You've got Darren Ironside. He's got runs. Jonah Wicks is in there with some quick runs. Josh Cantrell. A lot of the usual suspects are getting runs. The Wilcox brothers chipping in as well. Nikhil Garantla, people will know from the northeast. He's getting runs this weekend. So, but yeah, it's just a bit of a run fest in terms of teams. 250 plays 250, 325, 200, 200 plays 200, and so on. That's kind of been the story of the season so far, hasn't it? Just East Anglia just runs and runs and runs and runs. And in terms of league position, Sawston got a bit of a daylight between Horsford in second place, Copdock third, with them fourth. Those four probably still in with a shout. I'd say the rest maybe getting slightly cut adrift, certainly from the top spot. And then you've got Ashman and Barton Wanderers cut adrift at the bottom, but Mildenhall looking a bit dicey for them. They're their second bottom after a pretty solid season last year where they flirted with the top. But there's not a huge amount between them and sort of mid-table. So yeah, it's an interesting setup all round.
It is, yeah. And I think we're going to also talk about the Lincolnshire League now, where the runs have just been flowing all season. And if I told you that between the East Anglian and Lincolnshire League, we've got 6 of the top 10 run scorers in the entire country. With obviously Adam Jones at the top, number 2 being Priyanshu Kanduri at Scunthorpe Town, who are in third place in the Lincolnshire League, having won it last year. Yeah, it just shows those hard East Anglia, Lincolnshire tracks, the good weather that they get. I was over there on holiday last week as well. It's just non-stop golden. It just makes all the difference there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it seems to. I mean, it doesn't necessarily go hand in hand. Obviously, the groundsmen need to make good pitches, and you need to have a decent water supply to keep the water on it at the moment, don't you? But yeah, it's certainly producing plenty of runs and some interesting games. Just looking at the weekend just gone, you got Bracebridge got over 300. You've got Netland. Linden, big game. There's the Scunny game, 437 plays 283. Sleaford got 250. Woodall Spa 250 plays 279 at Grantham. So yeah, it's there's plenty of runs just this weekend just gone. And in terms of say league position, you've got Bracebridge East sitting comfortably, but Lindham, well, not too comfortably. Lindham are there, and then Netlam at the bottom with Market Deeping. But actually, it's a pretty close league. There's not a huge amount between all the teams, really, and it's I suspect possibly unlike a little bit like last year. There's virtually anybody could beat anybody else. It's going to be a fascinating finish. I'd say anybody from Grantham up really is still in with a shout.
Yeah, they're within 2 games, aren't they? And anyone who's within 2 games, that can be a quick turnaround, to say the least. You've already mentioned them yesterday very briefly, so I think we need to get down into that southeast and talk home counties where it's fair to say things have been moving rather quickly, haven't they, Hugh?
Yeah, well, just looking at the league table, it's not close, I would say at the moment. And High Wycombe appear to be running away with it. Things can change. Finchampstead, not. Were they 40 odd behind? 33 behind.
Yeah.
So they're in with a shout still, but I wouldn't say anybody else is. Stoke Green looking a bit like they're in trouble, but not miles away from the middle. Yes, it's just that top's a bit. There's a big gap appearing, and just after what's gone on the weekend, I think it's going to be hard for anybody to close it. I would expect.
I think one or two people were looking at the High Wycombe game of the weekend thinking, actually, this could be the weekend where things turn around. High Wycombe were away at Stoke Green and were 70 for 7. So, you go to bottom of the league and you're 70 for 7. And you see the likes of Billy Dodds, Cam Hemp, Dan Lincoln, Josh Lincoln, guys who've been scoring runs this season. And then cue the recovery. Skipper Cam Parsons comes in, 88, together with the king of the forfers, Connor Haddow, 39. And then also Archie Dodds scored 46. And from 70 for 7, they managed to get themselves to 246 for 8, High Wycombe. And then the bowlers did what the bowlers do, and they bowled Stoke Green out for 49. I was exchanging a couple of messages with some players from High Wycombe, and when it was 70 for 7, it's fair to say there was a little bit of nervousness. But by the time Connor had taken 6 for 24 and Cam had taken 3 for 20 on the back of his 88, crucified them in the end, didn't they? Did what a top side should do to a bottom side.
Well, it's just brutal. And when you've got a team something like 70 for 7, Matt, you'll agree with this. I would think, you're 70 for 7. I think you get greedy, don't you? You just think, why have we not got them 70 for 8? Why have we not got them for 70 for 9? And then hopefully you get those. Yeah, well, and it just kills you. And then when you go out to bat, you just, oh no, your mindset's gone. You've almost lost the game, haven't you? Whereas I think if they get 250 any normal way, it's just a game of cricket, isn't it? I don't think you end up 49 all out if they've just got, a series of partnerships. The openers have got some runs, 3 or 4 have got some runs, and so on. Oh yeah, it's brutal. So yeah, tough weekend for Stoke Green, and they're looking a bit shaky, but High Wycombe cruising on.
Yeah, I think it's that classic example of taking momentum into the next innings, isn't it? They certainly did, to say the least. Talking of momentum, go up the road from up the road from the home counties to what is a bit of same old Northants League, where Findon Dolben, who won it last year, are top of the league again. But it's a different ball game there this year, I think, in terms of a little bit closer. But it's still Findon, Dolben, Peterborough, and Oundle at the top. Same top 3 there in Northamptonshire. We got to go a bit more local, though. We didn't talk about North Staffs and South Cheshire yesterday on our first part of this roundup, Hugh. And Checkley, top of the league. Hemheath quite a way back last year's winners. But again, nothing really changes in the results there, mate, does it?
No, it's pretty tight though.
Yeah.
You'd say. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily say Newcastle and Hartsel in 10th are in with a shout, but they're not miles away. There's 50 points between them and 50. Yeah, it's a bit more than that, 60 points. So they probably are, but
I go Audley in 6th, who are 2 wins away.
But the points table in terms of Newcastle have got 75% of the points that Checkley have got.
Yeah.
You would kind of say, well, they can probably in with a shout of beating them. And I'm in league. So yeah, I think that could be a real one to watch. Longton at the bottom there, along with Alsager, they're probably in trouble. But yeah, and it's an interesting league. Alsager lost at the weekend to JG Meakin, so that's put them in more trouble. And Checkley lost to Porthill Park. So yeah, it's wide open. And League lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, League lost at the weekend as well. So yeah, Moddershall beat League. So this could be the league. Yeah, could be the league.
It was very close at the end of last year, and it would be a really good one to watch all the way through to the end of the season. And if I remember rightly, there's some great fixtures at the end of the season as well. The fixture compilers are put together. But you got some great bowlers doing really well over there. Sachi Pereira, 40 wickets, is fourth in the country in the North Staffs League. And then one of your lads, Mr. Matthew Campbell's not doing bad, is he there, Matt?
No, he's doing well, is it? 600 runs and 30 odd wickets.
Something like that?
Something like that, yeah. He's a proper player, so I'm sure they'll try to get him back next year.
What's just back onto the agency stuff, Matt? What's happening with guys looking to go overseas? When do people start going? Looking at, because I always feel like the halfway is such a strange. You're not really thinking about the end of the season, then all of a sudden,
it's there.
I'm counting the number of games left, and then is it at this point where everyone goes, "Oh, I'd quite like to be overseas next year," or have people already got it in the bag?
Yeah, it's an Ashes winter, isn't it? So it's been absolutely crazy. We've probably been 2 months ahead of the game, really. So like we've already done 225 placements for Australia, and then like you say, July, August, September are generally our busiest months when people realise that this, like you say, season's coming to an end and they think, I don't want a cold winter here. Let's see what I can do down under. So.
Yeah.
Interested to see how July, August, and September goes, but I wish it was me going.
Yeah, you can't blag it.
I blag it every day. I think I'll be single if I carry on or go. So could be a positive.
Yeah.
hopefully Georgie doesn't listen. Besides not be the first one she ever listens to, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, she thought I played on Saturday, so it's all good. I've been out.
Absolutely. Hey, let's go all the way down south, Hugh. Let's go down to our work from the southwest. We know Cornwall last year had what would be best described as a little bit of a mare early on when it came to the weather. This year, they've had a couple of weekends that have been, but things have started to sort of balance themselves out now in Cornwall, haven't they, Hugh?
Yeah. Penzance looking pretty tight at the top bit. Helston, Wadebridge, Redruth, they were right in there as well. So yeah it's a one game. It's a one-game league thus far, and at the bottom even you've got 5 teams looking a bit dicey as well. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch the end of this season. But yeah, Penzance sitting pretty at the top of the league.
Yeah, top of the league. They beat bottom of the league, Grandpound Road at the weekend with friend of the pod, Brad Wadland. Scoring, I think it was 58 off 61 balls and then taking 3 wickets. He just continues to just grind it out, doesn't he? Week in, week out. And yeah, I think if I was to look outside in, I don't think anyone at Penzance would say they've absolutely hit top form in the league yet. They've just been able to tick over and get to that stage. Callington have been a bit of a disappointment being down in 8th place. They pushed Penzance all the way last year. There was a big end of the season between those two. So it'd be interested to see where they end up, definitely. So moving up the road, though, last year's winners in Devon, Bradninch and Kentisbeer, doing the same again.
Yep. I mean, all good for them, but I always want someone different to win it each year. I don't know why. But yeah, Paignton, they're in there as well. They're 6 points back, so they could get it done. But then there's a bit of a gap. Cornwood next to Plymouth, Sanford, probably the top 2 maybe could get up there, but I'd say after that, the top 4 potentially could interchange at some point. But yeah, everyone else is probably fighting for mid-table at this point. North Devon looking a bit dicey. They're 20 clear of relegation. They're 20 clear of safety in the relegation places. So yeah, that could be a bit tricky. Just looking at the weekend's game, North Devon bowled out for 120 against Exmouth. They put 354 on the board, so that game was never going to be close. And then there's a few of the big gains. Not a huge amount of runs. Heathcote bowled out for 126. Paignton got it very, very comfortably, and then Cornwood thrashed Exeter as well. So.
Can I give you my Devon disappointment?
Go on.
2 of the most picturesque grounds in the country could be relegated. North Devon and Sidmouth. They do not get nicer than... Sidmouth's got more photos on the internet than any of the bloody cricket ground other than Lord's, I reckon. But North Devon is pretty special, where you can be fielding on the boundary 1 minute and collecting it from the beach the next minute. They're the sort of grounds that we love going to in the first place. So it'd be nice to see one of them get the way up there. But let's move further up the coast to, we said at the start of the season, it was a great one at the end of last year, but the Whipple this year, there's a bit of a gap being opened up by the big boys at Bridgie.
Yeah, well, they're the big boys, aren't they? And there's some serious play. But Bedminster, they're going all right. They were, where were they last year? They finished third last year. They're up to second in that carnage end of the season. It was always a little bit contentious, the end of the season last year. So Bridgewater sort of put the foot down early, haven't they? And they've got a big gap. Taunton St Andrews, the Roux family, not able to help out much this year because they're so busy. We might see a bit more of them in the summer potentially.
Yeah,
Doubt it. I think
Thomas has just got his rookie contract as well at Somerset, which means they'll start to control what games he can play. James obviously been playing with the England Lions as well, so be an interesting one to see where we go. Hopefully, though, chatted with Chris Roux, dad of Thomas and James, a couple of weeks ago, and fingers crossed we'll get him on before the end of the season to talk all things junior cricket, because it is the Roux family who are behind all of that junior cricket at Taunton St Andrews. So that'd be great to hear from him about what goes on there, definitely. Yeah. Well,
very interesting how to build an incredible cricketer. It'd be useful to know, won't it, for all of us? It's a fun league, isn't it? And we'll keep an eye on that. Bath sitting there, they're not out of it, but you just think Bridgie are very, very comfortable with the big gap at the top at the moment. It'd be hard for them not to be finishing at least in second. But Bedminster in with a shout.
Definitely, and I think the key to the Bridgewater lead there, as you say, it is that depth. The depth that they've got in terms of the players, with Alex Eklund, who's been playing exceptional cricket in the NCCA as well. Alfie Ogborn, I think he's on Hampshire's books. Jake Lintott, one of Warwickshire's players, he's going back and playing his club cricket down at Bridgie. And that's before you even get to Alex Russell, ex-Northampton, signed for Bridgewater and now been playing for Wales National County and the Challengers this year. So they've got a real squad in depth there down in the west of England at Bridgewater. Across the country a little bit further, in the Southern Premier League, Hampshire Academy, who won the league last year, are not having it their own way, are they?
No, and good, because they thrashed everyone last year. I think they didn't thrash them, but they were exceptionally strong. So it's nice to see a few others getting a look in there. It's a bit of a strange mix when you've got players playing for them and then for a different team the other week. But there's just looking at the weekend, they still managed to thrash Bashley Rydal. 316 they put up in their 60 overs, and Bashley were bowled out for 209. But in terms of league positions, Lymington sitting top on 189 points. St Cross second on 70. There's a bit of a gap there, and then Alton third. Hampshire is still in with a shout, and they have the depth, don't they? They definitely have the depth. Whether the right players are available at the right time, so they will always be a challenge to anybody on any given day. And that's probably one of the things about them. They could potentially not win the league, but then maybe could stop someone else from winning the league by just knocking off the right team at the wrong time, or vice versa. Interesting finish the season there. Just looking at the top tens in there, Ben Duggan 498 and Toby Snell 497 in terms of runs. Mohammed Ashraful, there he is. He was always going to be an interesting character coming into the league in terms of how he was going to perform. Well, he's done well. He's averaging 44, 442 runs there, so it's been very consistent for them as well. And then the bowling, Ben Walters 25 wickets.
Let's move across to South Wales very quickly there, where St Fagans won it last year. They're in second place right now, chasing down Newport. But we mentioned it a few weeks ago. The big shock there is the bottom two, isn't it?
The surprise in South Wales, the Swansea and Cardiff. Swansea well adrift. Cardiff less so. And Stowie in the mix for the relegation as well. But Swansea right on the bottom. They've got a big change coming up with the shift away from their home ground. There's been a bit of a move, a few players leaving. I think it's just going to be a bit of reset time for them. Looks like they're going to get relegated. Be very surprised if they don't. What will the future bring? Hopefully some positive news for them, and they can settle in maybe and then just reset and then come again. Newport absolutely flying at the top. St Fagans They're close behind him in second, and Ponce 159 in fourth. And
Swansea put up one of their best performances of the season at the weekend, where St Fagans had scored 350, and they've faced some big totals this year, Swansea already. A friend of the show, Cam Nichols, with 182 there for St Fagans. But Swansea, to be fair to them, 298 all out. They gave it a bloody good go, is the best way to put it, and you can't ask more than that. I've got to point out the guy who scored 89 off 38 balls, Big Tim Moses. Far better known as a big bowler, very tall and very bowls a heavy ball, but God, does he hit a long one as well. 6 4s and 8 6s, 89 off 38. So well done to you there, Tim. But it does look tough down the bottom there for Swansea. Turning back to you, Matt. Cric and the bowlers, there's been some wickets taken this year already, hasn't there, mate?
Yeah, there is, but it's pretty par with the batters, really. Like you say, it's just neck and neck, really. But leading the way, 63 wickets, Umega Chaturanga. For Austerlands, he's 63 wickets. Rohan Sanjaya, again, 60 wickets. Delanka Ubort for Ainsdale, 60 wickets. Safi Ghaffari at Richmondshire, 59 wickets, and he just takes wickets whenever he bowls, doesn't he?
And he started the season slowly.
And he started very slowly. So he's turned it on, and then backing up his 1,500 runs with 55 wickets is Conisborough's Boudica Sanjeewa. So I'm sure they'll be trying to keep hold of him for next year with them numbers. But Oliver Tuatia, Kimberley Institute, again, 49 wickets at an average of 13, and he scored 450 runs as well. So it's just the all-rounders coming to parties there after your three or four big spinners, really, like I say, runs and wickets. But yeah, serious numbers again.
Well, Shafi is number 11 in the country when it comes to Premier League wickets right now. And Oliver Tuatia is number 19 with 35 wickets. So it's good to see these Premier League guys doing the job for them. Yeah, a lot of your pros who you have over might be playing that next division down. Do you find that a lot of the guys who are playing the next division down and getting these 50, 60, 70 wickets, they're the ones clubs are looking at already and going, hey, hang on a minute.
Yeah, definitely. And like we touched on before, with the ability for clubs to see these players' performances at the click of a button, it does just, like you say, spark interest from clubs that are start trying to be organised and actively recruiting for next year. But whatever league they play in, I'm sure they do a job, whether that's Premier League or, like you say, Division 1 or 2.
Yeah.
They're all class acts, really. And there's a reason why they come over here and perform as well as they do.
Absolutely. Got to ask really sort of wide open question. Is there anyone who you've seen come through this year where you've gone, actually, didn't know much about that one, but do you know what?
Yeah, there's two probably. Probably my lack of knowledge will be able to hit the league nail on the head, but Jehu Anderson, an Indian right-handed batter, not set the world alight in first-class cricket, and I'm sure he'll admit that, but he's come over here and just performed absolutely exceptional. Another one is a Sri Lankan all-rounder, Shalin Damel. Left-hand batter, hits it absolutely miles. And he's set the world alight for Wisbech Town this year. So they're probably the two that have sort of come out of nowhere. And you say to clubs, you send them the profiles and you say, potentially will come off, potentially not, but we'd advise to take the gamble on it. And it's nice when they do come off to that extreme. But they're probably the two that sort of come out of nowhere.
Yeah, and let's be brutal about this. There is, with a lot of pros, especially first-year ones in this country, there's quite a risk involved, isn't there, for one or two of these boys to come over? Not just for the clubs, for the players themselves who put themselves out there. Yeah, you guys seem to just have a great record of just getting the right ones, though.
Yeah, exactly. You learn to understand the players' character and stuff just through dealing with them when they sort of sign up, really, and you're asking for all the footage and you're putting the profiles together. You sort of learn a little bit more about the player than you would, so you can sort of go with your gut if you've got a feeling with a player. But yeah, it's like anything. It's sport. You can have good days, you can have bad days, and like you say, it only takes a pro to what was that? What did that lad at Shaw? It's 5 ducks in a row, but he's stealing it with the ball. Anything can happen once they're over, really, and it's not through a lack of talent.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks, or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Visit USAA.com/bundle. Bundle savings are off total premium, not available in all states or in all situations. To qualify, auto policy must be active prior to property policy issue, subject to change. Restrictions apply. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
This episode is brought to you by Starbucks. Smooth, bright, deliciously crafted. Introducing Starbucks Sansera Blend, their smoothest, brightest coffee yet. It's a new kind of light roast, one that's packed with so much flavor, it shines no matter how you brew it. So go ahead and try it hot, iced, black, or with a splash of creamer. Visit athome.starbucks.com/Sansera-blend-coffee to bring Starbucks Sansera Blend home.
Hey, let's get back into some of the leagues now. Looking at Sussex, where in the Sussex League, we've got Horsham. I'm not going to say running away with it, but I think one of the biggest leads in the country, Hugh.
I think they probably do have one of the biggest leads in the country. Yeah, 280. Preston Nomads in second, 223. One of the fun things about guys with big leads is it means that everybody else is generally packed together. Yeah. And whilst Bognor Regis looking a little bit iffy, I feel potentially, but everybody else from East Grinstead up could be challenging for second potentially, and then Horsham look like they've won it. So yeah, I mean, maybe they'll take their foot off the gas, wheels come off, something like that. But I suspect not. They look pretty comfortable. Just looking at the games on the weekend, Horsham batting second. They bowled East Grinstead out for 265, and then Horsham got it in the last over 5 down. So those are the kind of wins you put together when you're at the top. That did very solid total from East Grinstead, and they've got it 5 down and relatively comfortably with an over to spare.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think as you've raised the last over there, we've got to go across to Essex, haven't we? We've got to talk about
yes.
The finish of the weekend without an absolute shadow. Colchester and East Essex are at the top of the league with a bit of a gap there in Essex, but there was a big old battle between last year's national champions Brentwood and our old friends at Hornchurch. And it's fair to say it went all the way.
Well, the lovely thing, and this is the great thing about having Frogbox or NV Play, preferably NV Play, is that often we can watch it. And this is worth a look. I think I've had to find it on YouTube. I couldn't quite get it from the scorecard, but the final ball there, yeah, they needed, how many did they need to actually win the game?
They needed 5 to win.
They needed 5 to win off the last ball, 4 for a tie. And do you want to talk us through it?
Well, I think it's fair to say that well-known batter, Gavin Griffiths, had Jack Hebron, I think it was, bowling at him, and he decided to smack it for 6, having only faced 6 balls so far, and it was a last ball 6 to win the game away at Brentwood. Now,
but I'm just the video. If you can skip through it in the YouTube video, it doesn't look like he's just won the game, though. You think you're going to be like celebrating, parties going off. It looks like, oh yeah, that was fine. Just knocked it over the ropes. Yeah.
Well, if you know Gav, he's as chilled as they come.
Well, absolutely.
Is the best way to put it. I think to get that win over there when Hornchurch will tell you they've not had the best of seasons, to say the least. But actually to get that win over there, that's a really big chase over there. It was one of the top 3 chases in the country at the weekend, outdone by a couple of other games. But when you've got Adil Malik coming in and striking 68 off 36 as you're chasing it down, you know that you're putting yourself in the right place. And it was just left to Gav there, who he'd gone in, having bowled already. Let's have a check.
2 for 46.
13 overs, 2 for 46. Adil Malik had bowled 21 overs, 1 for 77. He must have been knackered. It's a great win there, but Hornchurch were the first to say that being down in 6th place, quite a long way behind our friends at Colchester and East Essex, that league's going to go all the way to the end, I think, between the top two, maybe three, really, isn't it, Hugh?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, Chelmsford, last year's champions, are in third. They were pretty comfortable last year. They're bubbling along. I think that win possibly cost Brentwood, a lot more than Hornchurch. Hornchurch, I think, we're never going to get relegated. You wouldn't have thought they were always going to sit mid-table. I don't think they're going to be able to hit the top anytime soon. But Brentwood could have done with a win there. So that's maybe cost them. Things can change. They're not miles behind, but you think Colchester at the top, East Essex. Sorry, Colchester and East Essex top, Wanstead second, Chelmsford third. It's one of those three, isn't it? But Colchester looking comfortable.
Yeah, most definitely. Let's go down the road to Surrey. It's a big season in the Surrey Championship where they've had lots of changes over the winter. But to be fair, the actual the Surrey Championship, the Premier League, has changed very little in terms of the makeup of and how the game play. There's some big name players going on down there at the moment. I think the biggest name of the weekend, never mind your KS Barat, Gus Atkinson bowling for Spencer.
Well, it's lovely to see him bowling. I mean, that's the thing. It's they're normally so wrapped up in cotton wool. So to be out there bowling, absolutely fantastic. How did he get on? I can't see.
8 overs, none for 36.
There you go.
But he scored 30 odd batting 3, I think, didn't he?
Yeah. Then Wimbledon had Dan Worrell as well, didn't they?
They did, and it's the Surrey Championship is the one that we know Surrey do let these players go out and play in these games, and in this case it wasn't Surrey, it was actually England let Gus Atkinson play over at Sunbury.
Dan Worrell at Wimbledon 3 for 40 as well, so he's actually got some wickets. Gus Atkinson, useless. Come on, Gus, sort yourself out.
Absolutely, but then again, if you look at the bounce that he bowled and it's on social media, you don't want to be facing it, trust me. I think the biggest shock in that league this year, though, is...
I never will have to,
Absolutely. Last year's champion, Sunbury, down in 9th place. That's a real shocker down there. I mean, they've got Hugh Wiebgen from Australia scoring runs for fun, but around him, it's just not working for them yet, is it?
No, looking at the league in terms of Jaden Brudrick, done absolutely fantastic. For Sutton, I think he's one of the finds of the season there. He's 500 runs. I mean, bear in mind this is a May league, doesn't it? Go into the first week of May. 500 runs at 81 in a very, very difficult league. So that's a hell of a signing there, and he's really fired them to the top of the table. Yeah, Sunbury and Dulwich, Dulwich, they're going, they're spending a bit of cash, aren't they? And it's not worked out, but it shows you the strength and depth of that league. Yeah, it's a top league. A lot of fun to keep an eye on, especially when you get England internationals popping up on a day off.
Let's stay in the southeast there and have a look at Kent, will we, Hugh?
Absolutely, yeah. We're jumping around a few different leagues. But yeah, Tunbridge sitting very pretty at the top of Kent. They're well clear. They're about 30 points clear, nearly over Hayes in second place. They've looked pretty comfortable in the start of the season, going very nicely. But Hayes, they finished mid-table last year and sort of just pushing up towards the top, whereas Tunbridge finished last year. They were also mid-table. So you've got two mid-table teams pushing towards the top, being Kent. Then just jumping over to Hertfordshire, Harpenden are well clear. We talk about big leads, but Harpenden well clear in Hertfordshire. There's 40 fixtures left, and they are 72 points clear of Totteridge Mill Hillians. That's a hell of a gap that's going to be pretty insurmountable for everybody else. You've got Harpenden had big winners last year as well, and Totteridge were that I just don't see them being able to close the gap anytime soon. Looking at the 2025 Middlesex, Shepherd's Bush and North Middlesex going toe-to-toe. That's a fascinating battle there. Crouch End in third, Ealing down the bottom with Harrow. I think both of those two in a bit of bother there. But yeah, Shepherd's Bush, North Middlesex. Those guys just jumping over to the games from the weekend. Looking at Middlesex. There we go. Just looking at the Middlesex League from the weekend. North Middlesex, Crouch End put up 220, and they North Middlesex weren't able to get there. I think they clung on for a draw, but didn't get a huge amount of points from it. Game points 1 to Crouch End's 5, so that was a disappointing weekend for North Middlesex. And then in terms of Shepherd's Bush on the weekend, yeah, the Shepherd's Bush also lost on the weekend. So Stanmore put up nearly 300, 299 for 6, batting first, and Shepherd's Bush bowled out for 119. So this, if they take that form into the next few weeks, Crouch End, Hampstead definitely in with the shout. Just one thing I want to touch on before we progress further is looking at the all-rounders. There's been an all-round performance this weekend that is rather special, and it's a league we've not actually touched on, but we will touch on in a second. But Husnain Bakari for Saltburn. Now, Saltburn is not known for, I think this season has been very different. There's been a lot more runs up there in the last few years. But yeah, you've got Husnain Bakari. Saltburn put 325 for 6. Bishop Auckland bowled out for 201. Husnain Bakari batting at 159 off 99 balls. He packs up his batting gear, puts it away, and then bowls third, 13 overs, 7 wickets for 47. So he's got 150 and 7 wickets. And that, for me, is one of the best all-round performances that I've ever seen in terms of my all-rounders tool. 7 wickets and 159. In terms of the season, it is easily the best. Second place is Great Ayton's Suminder Lakshan. He got 56 and 9 wickets in the game. Diego Rossier 176 and 3 wickets. So I think in terms of deciding what's more valuable, but I think 7 wickets and 159. That's one of the best ECB Premier League performances of all time. It's going to be very, very difficult to beat that.
Yeah, as we come to the end of part 2 of our very quick whistle top around the country, we're going to move north again to the Midlands and up to the very northeast. And we've got the Leicestershire League, where it's fair to say it's been same old until last weekend, Hugh.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is my article went out before this game happened, but yeah, it's Rothley have actually lost, which is a remarkable state of affairs. But they've lost 2 this season now, and it's it's a big loss in terms of keeping us entertained. Sarby got the win. They're sitting second by just 5 points. There's a lot of points. Kibworth third, Leicester Ivanhoe fourth. So that loss just really opens the door for everyone else. Yeah, but they lost to Lutterworth, who are very much mid-table. Well, they're not miles away, and that's a really, really interesting result for us all. Lutterworth posted 240, Rothley 205 all out. I mean, they weren't getting there anyway. So 25 points for Lutterworth, 12 for Rothley. Just opens the door for the rest, which is very exciting. Kegworth, Cropston, Oakham in the relegation mire, everybody else looking comfortable, and it could be any one of potentially 3 now up the top.
Yeah, I think 3 or 4 less than Ivanhoe could still get up there as well. If I use the 2-game rule, if you're within 2 wins, you've got a chance of getting up there, haven't you? Definitely.
Yeah.
But let's go to the very north of the country and the last 2 leagues that we'll pass comment on, shall we say, this week. And the Northeast League, always an entertaining league for various different reasons, I think, Hugh.
Yeah, Burnmore top, very, very comfortably top as well.
50 point league,
yeah. I think that potentially done and dusted unless a lot goes wrong up there. But yeah, we've got Chester Street second, South Norths in third, Ashington fourth, Chester Street, South North potentially in the mix there, Ashington not, Sunderland not. They have only got 34 points. Sadly for them, they are looking like relegation candidates. But I'm sure they'll come again. Tynemouth, Shotley Bridge, Het Lions all equal on 146 points for that second relegation spot. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Quite unusual bottom, that, isn't it? They're 112 points behind Sunderland there. They're done for, full stop. But to have 3 teams on the same points then, and then a gap to Felling in 8th place, it's the haves and have-nots in that league. It's the top couple and the bottom ones.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reasonable amount of runs around. Newcastle put 300 up on the weekend, but there's still teams getting bowled out for less than 100 or thereabouts. Castle Eden, Townmouth getting skittled, Shotley Bridge 165. So, some decent tracks up there as well. So, yeah, it wasn't a huge amount of run scoring going on the whole. Ross Whitfield got a 92 on the weekend. Zainab Bass 74. Is it Matt Stewart 150 for Newcastle? Yes, we'll see where it goes. But yeah, it looks like Burnmore gonna keep that title themselves for this season.
A bit further south, the final one though, and we've left what I'd classed as the best till last. This has got to be the closest in the country. 2 points covering the top three. That's Richmondshire, Barnard Castle and Marton in the North Yorkshire and South Durham. Take a step back to fourth place, Hartlepool, and they're only another further 4 points behind. So you've actually got 6 points covering the top four after 13 games. This one looks an absolute humdinger, Hugh.
Yeah, well, I think it's also, Richmond pretty much ran away with it last year, didn't they? They were very comfortable last year. But I think things have changed in the last few weeks as well. Hartlepool, I think, were a bit back not long ago. I'm just checking here. I feel like they were. Let me just check.
Well, Richmondshire started off quite averagely, didn't they?
Yeah. Hartlepool, I've been keeping an eye on Hartlepool because our old pro has been playing there. And they were definitely struggling to start the season. They just really put some runs together. I was looking at their side thinking, how are they towards the bottom of the table? Well, they're no longer towards the bottom of the table. They're towards the top of the table. They've had a great run. But, I mean, they put up, Darlington got bowled out for 201. And Hartlepool got it none down in 29 overs. Yash Bagadia, I can never pronounce him. Young Yorkshire.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still at Yorkshire or whether he's ex-Yorkshire. And then Wilf LaFontaine Jackson, a couple of, I think both Yorkshire lads, I think. Yash Vagadia and Wilf LaFontaine Jackson, both Yorkshire lads, done really, really well to get that there. So they are firing. And just looking at that form, could take them. Martin have got the leading wicket taker in the country, haven't they, in terms of Sam Berry. He's got 41 wickets at 16. They're right.
42 wickets now.
Oh, well, that was as of last weekend, so things have changed. But yeah, so just a real good mix at the top. A lot of fun in that league. And really, Stokes is still in there. They were second last year. Middlesbrough not too far away. Darlington not too far away. Stockton not too far away. Saltburn not too far away. Yeah, so I think anybody from Saltburn up is still could win it. But yeah, I suspect relegation's...
Husnain Bakari at Saltburn taking 159 off 99 balls. Yeah, and 7 wickets. No one else got more than a 7 for the weekend. As you say, putting them in that sort of potential area. But yeah, you've got to think the top 4, maybe top 5, it's going to go all the way, this one. There's 9 games left in the season, and there's absolutely nothing but 6 points between the top 4. If we don't get that one going to the very end of the season, I'll be amazed. What is interesting, though, for the last day of the season, if it goes all that way, whilst Barnard Castle, Richmondshire, Hartlepool and Marton won't be playing each other, all 4 at home on the last day of the season. So let's take it to the very end and see where that goes, because there's bound to be some fun and games there, isn't there?
Well, and teams... Yeah, not too fussed about that final game of the season, which could affect matters. There's some looking for an early bath and a cheeky early trip to the bar. So yeah, it could be interesting to see where it goes. But it doesn't always work like that. Sometimes people like to knock off the potential champions and ruin someone's league season, don't they?
Absolutely. That's what it's all about, isn't it, as we approach the end. So, we're just over halfway through the season. We've had more cricket to talk about this year than we had last year, Hugh, it's fair to say. We've got a player with 1,000 runs, and we've got a number of others in that sort of getting up there, that 924. Sam Arthurton again with 852. Cal McLachlan at Sleaford was 790. You've got some big runs being scored all over the country. Wickets being taken, and as we said yesterday at the very beginning, it's pretty much level between batters and bowlers, and I can't remember a season where it has been that equal. Can you?
No. We touched on the bowlers there. Mike Mishra, 42 wickets for Cleethorpes. Sam Berry, 42 wickets for Martin. Santosh Gunitalaki, 41 wickets for Shaw. Shashithara Pereira, Newcastle and Hartsville, 40 wickets. Hussain Bakari, 40 wickets. And then Sunny Lakshan, 40 wickets as well. So those are the top six. Adnan Gauss is there. He's always there, Edgeworth, 38 wickets. So there's some plenty of wickets to be had. If they double that total, they're looking at 80 wickets, which is well up there with last season's totals. If the batters double their runs, they're well ahead of last season's total. So I think the bowlers are still well in the game. It's just the run rates are up.
Yeah, I'll put something on socials, I think, this week with the number of fifers and the number of runs out there, Centurions, because it's going to be an interesting battle to see that who ends up there on top. If the weather continues the way it is, I think it will continue to be pretty level around the country because the spinners are getting a good go, but the batters, if they bed in, there's runs everywhere for them right now, Mr. Taaffe, isn't there?
Yeah, there really is. Like you say, let's hope it stays dry up north.
Dry enough to get your hamstring back on the pitch and scoring some decent runs at Blackpool. Joking apart, we do have a laugh with you about it, but you guys at Blackpool still fancying that little run towards the end of the season, or are you looking at that Northern Prem now thinking, have we let that go a bit too early?
I don't think so, to be honest. Like you say, it's all neck and neck, really. Like you say, I think it'll all generally come down to that last 6 games of the season, and if you get on a bit of a run there, I think you can end up anywhere at the top. So it's a case of keep putting performances together and ticking off game by game and see where we end up in business end, really. But it's all exciting and nervy, really, with, like you say, a win either way or a loss either way can put you up or down.
Bit like this test match, bit nervy, this test match.
Well,
24.
Like I'm trying to get back and watching it here.
Yeah. I was going to say, just one of the other things I wanted to just raise, that we've talked about it on and off, but Hugh, have you ever known a season where we've got so many county championship players drop down and play Premier League cricket? It just seems to be week in, week out, another name drops onto the list.
I think, possibly. I think they're just the split between the fixtures, T20 Blast, the separation, so you get guys coming in to get a bit of blast practice or vice versa. Championship game, there's guys sitting around not doing anything for different bits of the season, which is really helping, isn't it? But I think we just still need more of it. We still need more of it. There's not enough. There's still not enough players, particularly in these sort of it's difficult when they're playing a championship game, a blast game, a pro 40 game, whatever it is. But at the moment, it seems to be there is quite a few players not doing a lot. Let's get them out there playing. Yeah.
Absolutely, totally agree. Hey, been great chatting, guys, for the first time properly in a couple of weeks, and just doing a quick whiz over a couple of days around the leagues. Yeah, as we sit here finishing this off, it's tight as anything down at Lords to tell everyone what we've been doing. Jofra Archer's just caned Siraj on the arm. We don't know what's going to happen there next. Yeah, next week it's back to Old Trafford. Yeah, you got tickets there, Mr. Taaffe?
We've actually got a Cric game down at Reigate next Wednesday, so that should be a nice little trip down to London for me.
Well, I'll be crossing over with you as you go that way. I'll be heading to Old Trafford.
Yeah, I might try and get to one of the days. I'll just see how things line up.
Most definitely. And yourself, Hugh, got to ask very quickly. You're about to go into chaos season, aren't you, right now, when it comes to cricket with you and the boy?
And the daughter, yeah. The last week was bad. Lank's just been called off tomorrow because it's going to chuck it down, which is nice. So yeah.
Okay, that'll save you.
So not too bad, but yeah, it's possibly actually settling down a little bit. We'll see.
Absolutely.
It's been a lot of fun. I think the worst thing as a parent is when games get rained off. You drive somewhere and then they get rained off. It's not so bad if it's yourself, but you're taking a day off work and then you're driving somewhere. So Lanks have done us a massive favour in that they've called the game off based on the forecast. They just rescheduled it. So good on them for helping us out tomorrow. That's a great
as
one.
The teachers would say, that's tick VG. Well done, boys. Really happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Top.
Have a good week, chaps, and we'll catch up next week, and we'll get back to Match Week recordings, and we will be looking for a guest for next week. So if you're in one of the leagues that we're going to be talking about, get ready for us to give you a shout.
Great.
Sweet.
Cheers now.
Cheers, lads.
Go well.
Thanks for joining us at the Premier League Cricket Club. We'll be back soon with more from the world of Premier League and NCCA cricket. But in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and follow us wherever you get your socials. Or maybe check out our website, premierleaguecricket.co.uk, to stay updated. Until next time, have a good one.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
This is an ad by Regain Couples Therapy. Let's be honest. Loving your partner doesn't mean you always like them, and guess what? That's normal. Regain, powered by BetterHelp, offers couples therapy that's flexible, affordable, and 100% online. Whether you're reconnecting or working through conflict, Regain is here to support you both. See why people wish they'd tried couples therapy sooner. Visit regain.com/couplespod to get 10% off your first month. That's regain.com/couplespod.